What up, everybody? It's your girl, Tanise. This is Unspoken Truth Podcast. Tonight's episode and topic is going to be co-parenting with a parent that is incarcerated or released. So I feel like this is going to be real beneficial. I got a guest. His name is Jay. And we just going to hit him with the questions and see what he got to say, how he feel, what's his perspective. He also is the father to one of my kids, so I just want to put that out there. All right, let's go. So what's up, Jay?
Not much, just sitting here.
How you doing?
Doing all right, I'm saying. It's a stressful situation, but you got to live with it. You got to deal with day for day.
Okay. I don't really want to go too in detail, but just tell us a little bit about, like, your circumstance. Not too much about what led to that, but pretty much, like, how long it's been. I guess I could say that.
I've been incarcerated about 21 years, Got locked when I was young, following the wrong people, and one thing led to another, and, once you get incarcerated, it's hard to get up out of here, from your support to your lawyers, everything, it's a constant struggle. You have to learn to do what you do, to find a way out of this place, because a lot of times the courts and things like that give people time upon time, and that's all they know. It's the factory.
Okay. Let's talk about a little bit about our relationship. Over the course of this 21 years, let's just start like where it all started, like how things was prior to your situation versus after.
You know how I started. I was riding that bike and I seen you walking fast and I had to, pull on over, see what you do. That's how I started,
We was young though. We was what?
Yeah, we was
22. And so I probably was about 19, almost 20 years old when we met.
Yeah.
Our daughter is soon to be 22 years old soon. Let's talk about some of the different seasons that we've been through, over the course of the last 21 years with parenting, with our friendship, how we got to where we at today.
First, you got to say it had to start with growth. With your growth and my growth, period, point blank. Because just like I said, it's a hard situation, period, for any man or any woman to be incarcerated and have a child with another person or another individual. You got to understand that to be a part of a person's life that's on the street or incarcerated, you got to give a lot. You got to sacrifice a lot. You got to put your pride aside. Because if a man is incarcerated or a woman is incarcerated, they want the best for their child. They want the best for their family. You don't want to be that hater that's thinking like, why is she with him or why is he with her? You want to be a positive person, to build on that, so you can always be a part of that person's life.
I don't think it was always like that for us, but again, we was young, when we had a baby, so I think that I went through a lot of different seasons as far as being a young mother. I guess for starters, just the impact that the situation had on me as a young mother, 20 years old with a brand new baby, with no support from you, essentially.
Right.
I feel like I went through the different stages. I guess you would call it like grieving, our relationship, the disconnect, the circumstance itself, and not really understanding all the dynamics and emotions that came with the situation.
Yeah, I believe that.
looking at it one way. I'm young. I'm like, what you mean? You in jail? Like, I didn't understand. And again, I was probably about 7 or 8 months pregnant. Once I found out, so she was on her way. I think getting that news was a blow to the gut for me. But I just felt like, okay, well, these the cards I'm dealt, so I'm either gonna fold or I'm gonna figure out a way. I figured out a way, but then I also went through that stage of being bitter and angry, because it's like you didn't get a chance to be a dad. I think it's different when men have an opportunity, to have that on a daily basis without no interference, and they don't take advantage of it. So I think it was a different cut for me, knowing that you couldn't be there how you wanted to be, and it didn't make you less of a dad because of it. I honestly, I'll tell anybody, based on the relationships I have with my other kids' fathers, I would say that you do way more than them, even from where you at. So
you got a man got to learn how to grow up. You got to grow fast. And as a woman having a child by yourself, I'm saying, it's a struggle. Period. Point blank. You got to be the mother, the father, the supporter. You know what I'm saying? The person that disciplines the kids, all that. You don't get no breaks. Your breath is when you sleep and when you wake up. But when you sleep and you wake up, you still think about that and them constantly. Because as soon as you wake up, you gotta tend to their needs again. So all these years, I'm saying, you have been putting yourself last. But I think it was a struggle for me as well, because I know that was my drop right there. You know what I'm saying? That was my baby. You know what I'm saying? And how I always been. I always been a person that want to take care of my responsibilities. I'm saying, want to do everything that I possibly can. No matter if it's work and grind or however I can get it, I was going to get it. And I believe, I'm saying, that's how a lot of people are that's in the situation I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah, I just...
like I always say.
Go ahead.
I was about to say, like I always say, I'm proud of the strength that you have. I'm saying, I'm proud of the decisions that you have made, I'm saying, through the course of these years. Because that right there is a amazing feat for a woman to do. Not saying that women can't do it. I'm saying, because y'all been doing it for years, but when a person sit back and just realizes the implications of all the things you have done to make that child, I'm saying, better than her parents, better than us, it's an amazing thing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I feel like we need to talk more about, how we got to this point. Because again, I said it wasn't always like this. I think it was more of us butting heads like this for many years, before we realized what was important. I also, want to talk about how long it took us to kind of make a decision on timing, on when we decided to explain or try to explain to her, your absence and things of that nature. Let's dive a little bit into that, because I'm hoping that this sparks a conversation, between the three of us,
Right.
in the future, as far as healing, growing, and things of that nature. Like, when did you feel like, okay, yes, we out of time? Because let me just be clear, I withheld, my daughter's father's circumstance from her. Because for me, I felt like this world is cruel. It could be hard, especially for a young kid. I didn't want his circumstance to stunt her growth, or her not be or be willing to reach her full potential because of, his situation. So I did not reveal that to her till she was 16 years old. So like, what has her knowing and your relationship since she found out, like, what has that been like?
I mean, it's been hard because, I could never be the father that I want to be, in her life, in her presence on the daily. But it's been still a beautiful thing, learning her as an individual. It's a struggle because no matter what I do, it'll never be enough in my eyes. And by it never being enough in my eyes, by me being here, I'll never find a way to give her what I feel like I can truly give her, of myself, of the person that that I am. I wasn't there, to pick her up, to chase the little boys, that's trying to get her away and doing all the silly things, and the pleasurable things when it comes to a child, But when it comes to you and me, I think we bumped heads because, you had the right to do what you did to keep her away, keep that situation away from, because you're protecting our child, And I had to respect that. I couldn't form a grain of hate or disappointment in my heart about that, because I knew the kind of a person that you were. I knew you was a hustler. I knew you was gonna get it. I knew you was gonna do and give everything you had, for her. And me being young too, and me being, this is my first time ever incarcerated or ever in trouble, I just had to learn how to sit back, and just wait on my moment. I couldn't throw animosity, when I called, when there was a guy there, I would speak to him too, tell him thank you. I appreciate him, because you give my daughter, something I can't give her. You looking out for it, It was never a disrespect ounce of my body, bone in my body, when it comes to you or whoever you chose to be with.
I think a lot of men struggle with that though.
Because
whether it be insecurities, and they say, I get it. I do. I definitely get that it's hard, but in the end, if you putting what's most important at the forefront of it all, it's really not that hard. It's you.
Oh, but it is.
I don't mean that it's not hard. I'm just saying, like, when you decided that the most important thing is the child and not really your emotions about what's maybe going on outside of where you at, then I don't think it's that hard. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's your opinion, but the thing about that is, every man has that thing within himself, like, no matter where they at, I belong to you, belong to me, You my lady, that's my child, I don't care who you with, you still mine, and that's still mine right there, so you gotta put all that aside, that pride, that insecurity, and be like, okay, I gotta do this so I can be a part of their life, because a lot of people, women, that's have a man that's incarcerated, shut him out completely and don't never get back with him, because it's like, for some reason I've learned this quickly, that a person incarcerated at times is like, we hear, damn, you can't do this, you can't do that. You out there in the free world, you got time all day long. You. What about me? But you can't be like that.
I'm guilty of that myself, because it was a period of time that we wasn't communicating, and I think it was just because I had reached my breaking point with everything. I don't think I actually ever processed everything, because I was so young, and then I had to hurry up and grow up and figure stuff out so I could move on, and then I had 2 other kids shortly after, so it was like I didn't really have a chance. chance to know, and I just wanted to get away from everything, because at that time it was a lot of like publicity and stuff surrounding what was happening with you. And it was like news reporters and, stuff that I just honestly wasn't used to, And I think that caused me to make a lot of impulse decisions. Not to say that I, regret my marriage, but I felt like that was one of the leading reasons why I decided to get married and move out of the city and try to start over fresh, because I just didn't want to deal with that. At that time, I thought like, well, if I wasn't dealing with it, it didn't really matter. But I quickly learned, even while I was married and after, like, just because it's not the center of my mindset at the time doesn't remove it from the effect and impact that it had, if that make any sense, How do you feel like all of this has impacted your daughter? Like, because we getting ready to be grandparents here in a minute. I know that's crazy. I
think she's a beautiful woman, a beautiful young lady. But I do see like a struggle within her. Mm-hmm. When it comes to, just let things go. Mm-hmm. She got a strong will. Yeah. It's her way or the highway, no matter what. And I think
we both contribute to that.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but hold on now, because you like that too. One track mind. I'm saying, if it ain't your way, I'm saying, you ready to run something over. I'm gonna give. Okay. But. Yeah.
Well, I'm learning. I'm learning. I still got stuff to work on. I'm still growing myself. So, hey.
But I'm also learning when it comes to her. I'm saying the more I speak to her, I'm saying the more that she opened up, the more that she laughed, the more that she, we get that connection. Mm-hmm. She knows that I'm gonna do whatever I can for her. She I'm a lover. I'm saying no matter what she do, or how she act up. Saying, I'm always have her back. Mm-hmm. Just like I know you're gonna always have her back, no matter what she do or what she say. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The hurt, the love, it's all the same to us. I'm saying when it comes to your child.
Yeah.
So I'm just appreciating her.
Yeah. I will say that I'm grateful, because the same way that people shut you out, sometimes the kids do that, where they just don't want to be bothered with the situation,
Because the kids want to be grown. They want to walk their own. I'm saying, once they get a certain age, I'm saying, it's like they don't need nothing else. They don't need nobody in their ear telling them, saying this or that. And that's, if you think about it, that's how he was too when he was coming up.
For sure.
But it's harder. It's harder when you parents, because you understand it now. You understand it when you was a kid doing it to your mama and to your father. Well, now that you're grown up, I'm saying, got a kid that's grown and they doing the same thing, I'm saying, it ain't karma, it's just a part of life.
I call it parenting yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I've had moments where I'm like, know where that came from. For me, I guess it's because now they older. I think before it was different because they was younger. I felt like I still had all the time in the world to still baby them and still, coddle them and spend that time with them. But they grown now. And so for me as a mom, I see myself in going through a transition. People tell you about like the empty nest phase of life when you have kids, but they don't explain the emotional and mental piece of it. How it feel, like what your body go through, things of that nature. Like, that's where I'm at currently, learning how to be okay with those feelings that come up. knowing that it's not them intentionally trying to make me feel a certain type of way. It's just them growing and being okay with them doing so, I guess for me, the biggest thing was finding out that you was sick. I want to say that was the catalyst for me, like getting over and letting go a lot of stuff as far as between us at that time. The bickering, the fighting, the not being able to reach, an agreement on nothing. I think all of that went out of the window, because I started thinking about the possibilities, of what if, what you was dealing with was bigger than what we was going through at the time. So I think that helped me grow. It pushed me to get over myself and stop picking, so to speak, in reference to certain things. Like, if it ain't gonna matter 5 minutes from now, then it don't matter. Learning how to get to that point, within our relationship, definitely helped me grow. We getting down to the wire of our call. So I guess I want to ask you, how has being incarcerated affected your ability to parent?
Everything is hard here. Everything is hard. Time is limited. Everything here costs something.
Mm-hmm.
You cost to get on the phone. You cost for a visit. It costs to see a person. Everything here costs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you ain't got it or can't get it, I'm saying, you just left out in the cold. I'm saying, you don't know. And a letter, it's a nice thing to have in a person's hand. It's tangible,
mm-hmm.
but words can be taken out of context at times.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So nothing is like, I'm saying, being in the person's presence. I'm saying, conversing with them, saying face to face. I'm saying,
mm-hmm.
letting them hear your voice. I'm saying the tone. I'm saying your emotions and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. I'm saying, there is no right way to say that. I'm saying it's hard, and it'll never be easy. I'm saying, because being incarcerated never will give a person the opportunity to do or be the person or that they become or will be.
Mm-hmm.
Being incarcerated is that mistake that you made in the past.
That's still
they say one mistake, I'm saying, doesn't make a person, and it really doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to deal with it.
What's some things, moving forward, that you want to put out there as far as to help other people who are either still incarcerated or have been released? What's some encouragement that you can give them as far as moving forward?
First, if you're still incarcerated, I'm saying, stay strong. I'm saying, and stay to the point. Don't give up. Even if you have a bad point in your relationship where you don't see eye to eye, don't give up. I'm saying, put your pride aside, put that anger aside. I'm saying, because you're gonna miss the moments. You know what I'm saying? And the little things matter. No matter what you do, the little things matter. I know everybody knows somebody that can draw, somebody that can write. Send them that. Express your emotions. Don't be afraid. I'm saying, or bound within yourself as a man. I'm saying, well, I got to be hard, I got to be tough. I'm saying, go ahead and give it up. Don't let them know you love them. I'm saying, from your child, I'm saying, to your baby mama. I'm saying, just keep it going. And to the person that's getting out, be about that life. Understand that you're not young no more. And if you are, I'm saying, you can't be in that same situation, can't be in that same surrounding anymore. You got to grow up. You got to, if you got to do that 9 to 5, you got that mind capacity to make your own, to create your own, do it. But always understand that your child, your family, I'm saying, is always a seed within your life, meaning that they come first.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to learn how to put yourself on the secondary, I'm saying, because you ain't first no more. if you want that. No, you can't just be about words, because a lot of people get out and they done talked all this game to a woman or to their child. I'm saying they get out and like, hey, well, I can't do it, so it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is when you was in jail, but you was still trying. So why wouldn't you try with you on the street too?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're on the bricks, I'm saying, you know, it's hard out there too, understandably. But you got the opportunity to make do and make waves out there. So I just say, I'm saying, you know, if you out there about to get out, I'm saying, you got to drop out there, I'm saying, you know, and to be in, I'm saying, you know, go ahead, just give them that love, you know, because they gonna be always be in your life, and you never know what's gonna happen. You never shop for people you need, never shop for people you love.
I done watched so many people recently come home, don't even make it. You know, for that very reason that you're talking about, thinking they can resort back to the old way of living their life. And it's just simply not like that anymore out here. It's way more dangerous than it once was, you know. I just want to say that I love you. I appreciate you for being on my podcast and, like, pushing me and motivating me and supporting me to do it. Because I probably wouldn't have. I probably would have kept making excuses on why I can't do it, but I'm doing it and it's impacting and helping people. And so, you know, it's all for the good. So.
Yeah, because you are a person, if you push and saying you will try to snap a person who's seeing through the phone and whatnot, and says, yeah, you better go. I mean, I'm proud of you doing what you do. I'm saying, you know, this is a good thing. You know,
I think it's therapeutic. I think it's healing for me.
I just say this to you, you know what I'm saying? Don't never be afraid to discuss the harder issues or the issues of the taboos and things like that, because truthfully, that's what's in everybody's life. You know, everybody knows somebody that's incarcerated, especially if you're black. You know, so everybody, I'm saying, that has some type of situation, you got to go get it, because a lot of people ain't talking about it. You know.
Right. Well.
Yeah. This is life.
Your visit about to be over. I love you so much. I'm gonna talk to you soon. I'll take care of everything, you know, before the night over. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
So,
make you take care.
Okay, I love you.
I love you too with your little bun on the top. I like that red though.
Oh shit.
That's my color right there too. You know I like that.
You feeling it? Yeah, I know.
You know I am.
Feeling it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that's it for tonight's episode.
The questions you had, I'm saying
yes, I did.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I didn't need to because our conversation just flowed. Well, guys, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure that y'all go back and watch. For everybody who didn't get a chance to chime in on the live, I appreciate y'all. I hope that this episode helped a lot of people, and be looking forward to future episodes. This is Unspoken Truth Podcast. It's your girl, Tanise. Peace.